morning. Okay, it's Thursday morning now. I've had to work for the last 3 days. Walking in towards the timber though, and of course, it's going to take a while because my uncle inline ripped down here and now it's rougher than a cob, so let's get into the timber here. Alright, so this morning wasn't a total bust. Saw a it was dark yet. I could tell it was a buck, but had to stare down in the dark with a buck about 10 to 7, and then about 8:15 had a little fork horn come through. He didn't stick around long. He just kind of nosed around, ate, went, freshened up a scrape, and then carried on his way, and he didn't stick around long. Didn't see nothing after that, and I stayed in the tree till about 9. So it's about 2:30 now. We're getting ready to walk back in the timber, or I am anyways. It's warm. It's 75 degrees. That's the warmest November firearm I've ever hunted. So, but I kind of want to play farmer here and show you guys something. Here is the job my uncle did inline ripping, and it is rough. Not because he did a bad job, but because last time anything was done here was about 4 years ago. We had which would have been the last time it was corn. We had a bunch of downed corn, and we disc ripped it. Then the next year was beans, and it was so wet that fall that we couldn't get back in here to do anything. I mean, look at these ridges. My goodness. Then last year was the flood. And you guys are going to find it hard to believe, but there's about 6-7 foot of water in through this whole bottom. And that packs the ground something fierce. And then we had beans again this year. And he figured while it was dry, while we had a chance, he was going to come down here and rip it. And he said the 230 horsepower tractor we had on the 5-shank ripper cried. I mean, it's a beast. It's brutal. So if it sounds like I'm huffing and puffing here, it's because it's hot and I'm sweating and I'm fat and out of shape. So anyways, let me get back into the timber here, get situated. Alright, so it's Friday evening now, the 20th. This morning had a little about quarter after 7, 7:30, somewhere's in there. It was later than that. Actually, it may have been quarter after 8. I wasn't paying that much attention to my time, I guess, but had a one of the small 4x4s walk underneath my tree stand. I mean, he was close enough I could have threw a rock and pegged him right in the head. But I wasn't, I don't know. The trophy hunter in me is still saying hang tight, but truth be known, I'm not seeing much. The only movement I'm seeing is in the mornings, and it's just a random small buck. I took I didn't film this afternoon. When I'm by myself, all truthfully, seriously, it is difficult to try to video deer when they come walking through, like that little buck this morning. He was a nice little buck, I'll give him that, but by the time he come walking through, I didn't have time to get my camera turned on and get him videoed. So this afternoon I just left the camera in the bag, and it's like, I'm just gonna see what happens. So there's a guy hunting in the field on the east side of us. It's a neighbor's field. This blind's been there all week. I actually got to meet the guy. Well, he's out there last night. My dad talked to him. I didn't. He's younger than me. He's from western Nebraska. Lives in Omaha. He took a deer this morning. Dad was sitting in the pickup. Of course, Dad's not hunting. He's just more or less moral support for me. So this kid comes walking by, and Dad rolled down the window of the pickup and said, "Hey, you need some help?" And he's like, "Sure, okay." When you're gutting a deer, it's always nice to have a second set of hands. Otherwise, you'll get kicked in the head by a hoof or something. But so Dad went out. Dad sent me a text and said, "Hey, I'm going to go help this kid. He shot a buck." So I crawled out of the stand about 8:30. My stand is uncomfortable with my bad back, so I kind of meandered and moseyed around, nosed through the timber, and made my way over to the adjacent field. My dad was still over there talking to him, and I went over and introduced myself. At first I was afraid that, you're always afraid that, somebody out of Omaha or one of the bigger cities, they might be a-hole, but he was a really super nice guy. Him and I exchanged phone numbers. We exchanged some hunting stories and stuff like that. So, and he saw us last night, and he was worried. He was more or less. He's like, "Oh God, I'm glad that I finally got to meet you guys, because the field he's actually in, we used to farm, and his landlord, or the guy that owns it, the guy that gave him permission to hunt down there, said, hey, Heath's probably going to be over there hunting." And his dad, so hopefully, and he was going to call my uncle and let him know that he gave this guy permission to hunt down there, but the landlord's kind of a flake. So, and I've kind of discussed these guys before, but anyways, he's a nice guy. He did take the nice small 4x4 that I'd seen on my cameras. I wasn't really upset about it. Nothing I can do about it. If it was me, I probably would have let him pass for a year. But he kind of even said the same thing, because he's a nice, about 2.5-year-old, nice 2.5-year-old buck, a little nice 4x4. And he made a point here. He goes, "It's always fun to trophy hunt, but with as warm as it's been and the little activity we're seeing, you almost need to get what you can take to fill the freezer and feed the family." And it's like, valid point. So if I'd thought about it this morning, maybe I should have taken that smaller buck. I got 2 days left yet in the firearm season, so And so far, the major part of the activity we're seeing's kind of been in the morning, I guess. I did see 3 does this afternoon. I wouldn't have been able to get a shot on them anyway if I was going to try to. One was about 4 o'clock walking through the brush on the creek side of the timber. I just saw her walk by, just nose down, just meandering. Then about 10 after 5, I mean, it was getting dark in the timber. 2 does went past on the west side of the tree where both my cameras are. They just kind of nose down and meandered on south. So I stuck it out till about another 10 minutes at least, just to see if a buck was going to come. It was following, but no such luck. So, yeah, I'll give it a shot again in the morning. I don't know if I'll put the cam up or not, because basically otherwise, like I said, I'm by myself, and I hate to keep shooting boring pictures of an empty timber, but I'll give it a shot again in the morning. So, see you guys in the morning. Saturday afternoon, the 21st. Haven't had much luck. Just sitting and chilling and seeing what we can see. All right, everyone. So a little recap of how November firearm season went. Saturday morning, I went out. Didn't film anything. I wasn't really in the mood to. Was I frustrated a little bit with this hunting season? Yes. Disappointed? Yes. Is this the worst November firearm season I've ever had? No. What makes it all worth it, though, is I did get to see some activity and movement. There's been times where I've sat out for an entire week and never seen a single deer. At least I was seeing some kind of movement every day. Like I said earlier on in the video, I did have an opportunity to take a smaller buck. I passed on him. In hindsight now, I do regret it, because here's the thing. Do I like hunting for the big trophy deer? Yeah, you bet. But when it boils down to it, is I'm also out there to feed my family. He was a nice sized little buck, body wise. The biggest thing is, and I told myself, it's like, if I see him again, yeah, it's not a problem. I'll take him. I never saw him again. Am I afraid that somebody else took him? No, because I only saw one deer twice, and that was the doe with the mole on the right side of her cheek. I did have an opportunity to take her Saturday morning, but I didn't, because it was cooler that morning, and I was in hopes that maybe a buck was going to follow her in. I never saw her again either. Never saw anything Saturday afternoon. I just felt a little defeated, so I didn't even go out Sunday. But here's the other thing, is I still have my statewide buck permit for the rest of November. I can bow hunt and then muzzleloader hunt the whole month of December. So it's not like I'm totally giving up. I just took a little break. I'll probably try to get out and bow hunt a couple times and then hit her hard with maybe November firearm. Like I said, I'm not totally upset about it, because this isn't the first season I've not been able to take a deer, and honestly, that's rarity. The last 2 years I've gotten a deer 2 years in a row. That usually doesn't happen for me. It's just the biggest thing was this year that it was hot. I've never hunted in 75 degrees during November firearm. If I hunted in the 60s before, yes. 70s, no. That's like September, October stuff there. And here's the other thing is if you'd asked me a week ago how my season was going to go, I'd have told you, man, by the way that my cam looks, it's going to be great. I shouldn't have any problems seeing any animals. Bust. The thing is, when all the activity I saw on those cams, I do believe that's when the rut was happening because it was cooler then. It is what it is, so I'm not upset about it. All you can do is try again. You can't say you didn't try if you don't go out and do it. So, and it was kind of fun every night though to come home to my son excited, and jumping up and down, Daddy, did you get a deer tonight? And he's not quite 4, so he doesn't totally understand. But sit down, no, buddy, Daddy didn't see anything tonight. But we're going to keep our hopes up, and that's all you can tell him to do. So, and he, and then he just smiled. He'd turn around, walk off, and go, okay. So, but he goes, Daddy, the biggest thing is I'm just glad you're home because I missed you. And so, when he says stuff like that, it's just like it cheers you up, and you're just glad to be home with your kids. So, anyways, that's how my November firearm went. It's not a big deal. There will be more opportunities. So, thanks for tuning in tonight. If you liked what you saw, please hit that like button. And also, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. The more subscribers, the merrier. For all those of you that did get a deer, congratulations. For everybody else that's out there still hunting, good luck. And we'll keep in touch. Thanks.